Now, in this technical demonstration, we're going to extend the brokered authentication right down to the client or the console access without using the identity platform. Now, in order to do this, we're going to use the Centrify identity platform to assign specific types of privilege. So it's going to start with a role. So we're going to create a brand new role under access, and we're going to call this one the identity broker role. Then from here, we're going to go over to administrative rights. Now I'm going to click add, and there's a specific right that we're going to use for this purpose. It's computer logon and privileged elevation. Now this particular role is going to have both user accounts as well as systems. Now these systems will be installed with the Centrify client, whether that be the Centrify client for Unix or Windows. We'll go ahead and save this for now, and then we'll return to it once we have our systems enrolled. Now we're also going to apply MFA to this particular role. So in order to do this, we'll go back down to settings under authentication, and we'll create a new authentication profile. We'll call this one Identity Broker Profile. Now for this, we'll go ahead and set the password and the security question as we have in the past, and we'll go ahead and change the pass-through to no pass-through, and we'll click OK. Next, we want to assign a policy. So again, we'll go over to policies, and we'll add a new policy set. And this will be Identity Broker Policy. Now again, we're going to specify this policy or assign this policy to a specific role. We'll go ahead and select specified roles, and we'll click add. And the only role we're going to use is the Identity Broker role. And we'll click add. Now from here, we're going to make a few other changes, starting with authentication. Now under Centrify Services, which would be the identity platform, we're going to go ahead and click yes to enable it, and we're going to specify our Identity Broker profile. We're also going to do this for our Centrify clients. So we'll go to Centrify clients and we'll click on login. We'll enable the feature, and once again, we'll select the Identity Broker profile. And then from here, we'll go ahead and click Save. Now that we have our role and our profile and our policy set, we do need to make sure our global permissions are set as well. So we'll start with global system permissions. And we're going to click Add. And we're going to define the Identity Broker role. We'll select the role and click Add. Now, in this particular instance, the Identity Broker role has view permissions, and we're going to add the agent auth permission. This will extend the brokered authentication down to the console. And we'll go ahead and click Save. And then we'll go over to global account permissions, and we will add the Identity Broker role once again. And from here, we'll go ahead and select just view. And we'll click Save. Now that all of our privilege and permission have been set, it's now time to enroll the systems. Now we can enroll systems and use brokered authentication for both internal systems as well as cloud-based systems, as we did for Use My Account. So what we're going to do here is we're going to focus on the systems that are inside our Active Directory environment. Now they're already in place, but they don't have the Centrify client on them. So we're going to go ahead and add that to those systems. So we'll start with the database server. So I'm going to switch over to my database server so that we can install the C client. So now from here, I'm going to log in as A. Foster. And I do already have an enrollment code from a previous demonstration. So I'm going to copy that enrollment code before we install the Centrify client. So once again, I'll go down to Settings and down to Enrollment, and we'll copy the enrollment code. Go ahead and copy it. Now remember that we only have a minimum number of servers to use, so be very careful. In some cases, you may exceed the number of servers and the enrollment will not be successful. but we do still have some room to work with here. We have 3 available servers that we can still enroll with this code. Now from here, I'll go over to Downloads, and we will download the Centrify client. We'll go ahead and launch the installer now, and we'll run through the installation. Once again, we're going to do this as a manual process through PowerShell, so we'll skip this portion and click Next. We'll accept the manual enrollment notice, and we'll click Install. We'll go ahead and click Finish. Now we'll go ahead and run our PowerShell command. Now, this PowerShell command is going to be a little bit different from a new installation and a new enrollment. Remember, this system is already present in the identity platform. So what we need to do is we need to update the record. Now we're going to do this with a username. So let's go ahead and run the command. So cenroll will still supply the tenant. We'll still supply the feature. In this case, it's only going to be the agent auth feature. But instead of the code, we're going to go ahead and put in a user account. So in this case, it's just going to be -u a Foster. And then we're going to force this update, so I'm going to put a -f onto the end. Now once we do this, we're going to be prompted for Alex Foster's password. So we'll go ahead and enter it. And now as you can see, the agent has restarted, the feature has been enabled, and the enrollment is now complete. If I move back over to the platform under Resources, and we go ahead and take a look at that system, the system still exists, none of the permissions have been affected, and we now have a client profile that does show just the agent auth feature has been enabled. Now I've moved back over to my application server, and we're going to use PuTTY to log in to the app's Unix server so that we can complete the enrollment on that system. So let's go ahead and minimize the browser window, and I have my PuTTY session already in place, so I'll log in as root. And we'll start by installing the C client. And now as you can see, it's been installed. We'll go ahead and run our cnroll command just as we did on the Windows server. And again, we're going to update an existing system that's already enrolled within the identity platform. So we'll use the -u followed by a Foster for the user account, and we're going to force this update. We'll be prompted for my password. And now as you can see, once again, that this system has now been updated. And if we go back over to the platform under Systems, and we open up the app's Unix server, the client profile will now have that feature enabled. So now that we have the systems installed and enrolled, we do need to add them to the identity broker role, along with the user accounts that are going to have the privilege of logging in with their identity directly from the console. So let's go back over to the Access menu under Roles. We'll go ahead and open up the identity broker role, and we'll go to Members. Now from here, we're going to add in systems and user accounts or additional roles. So let's start by adding the computers. Now, by default, computers is not checked. So we're going to go ahead and check that box, and we're going to select apps. So now as you can see here, I do have apps Unix available to me as a system. I'll go ahead and add that to the membership. We'll go ahead and add the DB server now. And now we can go ahead and add in the user roles that are going to have access to use these systems. Now for this technical demonstration, we're going to select 4 specific roles. So it's going to start with our privileged access service roles. We're going to select all 3 of them. Go ahead and click Add. And then we're going to click add once again, and we're going to add our contractors. So we'll add the contractor role. And now we'll click save. So now that we've completed all of the necessary steps, let's go ahead and test out the process. So what we're going to do is I'm going to minimize the identity platform, and we'll go over to the PuTTY session. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this session, and I'm going to try to log in as an Active Directory account. So we're going to go ahead and log in as Laura Bennett. Now Laura Bennett is a contractor who has an Active Directory account. So let's go ahead and log in as L. Bennett. We'll enter in her password. And as you can see here, not only is it accepting her password, but it's also asking for multi-factor authentication. So we'll go ahead and answer the security question. And now as you can see, it's created her home directory, and now she has access to this server. Let's now examine this from the standpoint of a Windows machine. So I'm going to switch over to my database server. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and log in as Z Contractor. Now Z Contractor is not an Active Directory account, nor is it a local account on this system. This is a Centrify directory service user. We'll be prompted for the password, and we'll be prompted for multi-factor authentication. And now as you can see, the Z Contractor is now logged in directly into a Windows system. This type of feature can be used as an alternate to that of a shared privileged account, where we can now grant privilege to single identities and allow them to log in directly at the console, validating their identity using multi-factor authentication.